The turning points and key moments for Tennessee football in their 44-41 loss to Georgia in overtime. I just want to say up front, none of them came in overtime. None of them. Josh McRae's 1-yard run for a touchdown that was reviewed. That's not a turning point. The 21-yard run by Nate Frazier to set up the first down, to set up the touchdown, not a turning point. The game was over in overtime. The game was over by the time it went to overtime. Tennessee didn't have the horses left to hang. Here's where the real turning points were. It actually started in the first quarter. Tennessee had built a 21-7 lead, and they were looking like they could start to control the game. They brought up a 3rd and 12 after Caleb Herring got a key sack on Gunnar Stockton. It was 3rd and 12, Georgia ball from their own 39-yard line. Tennessee is up 21-7, and you think they're going to get the ball back. Gunnar Stockton completes a pass to Cash Jones for 9 yards to the Georgia 48. Kirby Smart, unlike Josh Heupel, decides to go for it near midfield. Gunnar Stockton completes a pass to Zachariah Branch for 13 yards to the Tennessee 39 for a first down. That 3rd and 12 9-yard conversion and turning into a 4th and 3 conversion to get a first down, that sets up a Georgia touchdown, puts them back in the game. A huge turning point. Kirby Smart's aggression is to be commended. Kirby Smart had already gotten stopped on downs on the previous drive, by the way, when he went for it on 4th and 3 near the 32-yard line. And to Tennessee's credit, it didn't matter. He goes for it on 4th and 3 and gets stopped. And guess what? Tennessee, and guess what? He decides to go for it again 2 drives later because that's who, or 1 drive later because that's who Kirby Smart is. You have to give him you have to give him credit for that. Huge turning point. Another gigantic turning point in the game. Back-to-back 3rd down defensive pass interference penalties by on Georgia's field goal drive late in the first half. This was huge, and I already talked about that. So they were both on 3rd down. Tennessee had brought up a 3rd and 10 from the Georgia 10 late, or actually it was middle of the second quarter. About 7 minutes left. And Gunnar Stockton throws an incomplete pass. Tennessee picks up a pass interference penalty. They get the first down. Then comes a 3rd and 5. Gunnar Stockton takes a shot. Andre Turntine picks up a completely unnecessary pass interference penalty. That is the right call. A lot of people wanted the pass to be uncatchable. But as I said, it doesn't have to be a greater than 50% chance the receiver would have caught the ball to be uncatchable. They just had to have a snowball's chance in hell of catching the pass. And you're going to call pass interference there. And they had a snowball's chance in hell. But you make them fight for the snowball's chance in hell. You don't give them the first down by getting a pass interference penalty. Tennessee committed that. Back-to-back pass interference penalties on the same drive. Georgia was then able to run down the clock, run down the field, and kick a field goal on 4th and goal from the 2 to make it 21-17. That was utterly crucial in the game because it truly put them right back in it. Sean McNeil, a super chat. Thank you, Sean McNeil. We really appreciate your super chats. Says, I saw enough from Gunnar to never believe in him. He's terrible. 304 yards, 2 touchdowns. He saw enough from Gunnar to never believe in him. Sean, I don't know. I disagree. Gunnar Stockton showed a lot of moxie in this one. Maybe he's not the best, but he was clutch, and he came through when it mattered, and that was a big deal. All right, moving on from other turning points. Well, we talked about those 2 in the first quarter and second quarter, and then things are going back and forth, and Tennessee scoring touchdowns, Georgia scoring field goals. You think Tennessee's got control. Tennessee takes a 35-30 lead, scoring back-to-back touchdowns, responding to 2 Georgia field goals. You think Tennessee's got it. They strip sack. I brought this up. They strip sack Gunnar Stockton, and they get the ball. Tennessee has it 1st and 10. They have the ball 1st and 10 on the Georgia 34-yard line, up 35-30 with about 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Step on their throat. That's what you want to do here. You're ready to step on their throat. Well, Sam Pendleton moves the ball just ever so slightly on a snap. The refs catch it. They call false start. That pushes Tennessee back 5 yards. Heupel decides to settle for the field goal there after 3 straight runs to give Tennessee a 38-30 lead. That false start was huge. The next turning point, well, this one's obvious. It's the play of the game, if you ask me. Gunnar Stockton, 4th and 6, 36-yard touchdown pass to London Humphreys. A 28-yard touchdown pass, excuse me. I don't know why I keep saying 36. 28-yard touchdown pass to London Humphreys. It was 4th and 6 at the Tennessee 28-yard line. 2.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and Tennessee's up 38-30. I actually thought Georgia was going to go for the field goal there. They have an automatic kicker, and I thought they were going to go for the field goal. They didn't. They went for the jugular. They went for the tying touchdown. They got it, converting a 4th and 6, and then they tied it up with the 2-point conversion. That was a huge play, a 28-yard touchdown pass, Gunnar Stockton to London Humphreys. That tied it up at 38. However, Tennessee still had a chance to fight back, and they drive down the length of the field, and with 3 seconds left in the fourth quarter, excuse me, I take that back. With 7 seconds left in the fourth quarter, it is 3rd and 5 at the Georgia 25 for a dead center field goal. Actually, no, for a field goal off to the left. They're looking at maybe moving to try to get a dead center field goal, and Shamarad Umarov commits the worst false start penalty in the history of false start penalties, and that pushes them back to the Georgia 25. It was on the Georgia 20. It was going to be a 37-yard field goal. All Josh Heupel was trying to do was to get a little bit to the right side to make it a more dead center field goal. And instead, a false start penalty kicked in from Shamarad Umarov, pushed them back. Josh Heupel didn't even try at that point to get it a dead center field goal, which was a huge mistake. You play the odds. You're not going to get another false start penalty, chances are. But he played the odds and went for a field goal from an angle. It was why it was hooked and it was missed, but it comes down to the Shamarad Umarov false start penalty. That false start penalty was a huge turning point in the game. And how many times have you guys watched a game where 2 false start penalties were crucial turning points? Well, they were in this one's. Basically, this came down to 2 completions by Gunnar Stockton, 2 false start penalties, and back-to-back third down defensive pass interference penalties. That's the way this thing played out. It was a brutal one for Tennessee because Gunnar Stockton, the conversions he made, you can live with. He made some great plays there. Though that particularly that 4th and 6, that was a dime that he dropped. London Humphreys was only where London Humphreys could catch it. You can't even be mad at it. It was just a beautiful throw. But Tennessee committing those pass interference penalties and then the 2 false start penalties, those were deadly. You can't have those in these type of moments. They had those in these type of moments, and that made the difference. That's why they ended up losing this game in overtime. It was brutal. And so taking that into account, the turning points were crucial. The turning points were brutal, and I've never seen them come down to so many penalties, but the turning points were mostly penalties.